Welcome to Friday Night Live. We are sponsored by Craig Fail, the owner of Blackbridge Financial in the Palisades. Blackbridge Financial specializes in wealth management services. Make sure you check them out if you need help managing your wealth. So we love to thank Craig Fail for his second season in a row sponsoring Friday Night Live. If you've never watched Friday Night Live before, this is your show. Post your scores, post your comments, and that's what we talk about. We go as long as you guys keep commenting. Typically, that is between 30 and 45 minutes on a average Friday night. Tonight, we did not have as many teams in action, but we had some really good high school football games across Charlotte and beyond, man. We got one comment here, so we'll see what that is. Of course, it's our Clover guy, Monty Bird. He is becoming one of the first ones on here every Friday night. So Coach Woolbright at Clover got his 100th victory against York, 47-0, 44-0 at halftime. Oh, good deal. Rock Hill's on the clock. All right, well, Clover is on a roll. Good job. Congrats to the Blue Eagles for getting that. And shout out to Coach Woolbright. 100 wins is nothing to sneeze at. That's a great accomplishment right there, man. Great stuff. So we got comments rolling in. I'll let you guys catch up as the stream kind of gets out there. But we were at Chambers tonight as they hosted Palisades in a big game here in the Charlotte area. Chambers coming into the game 3-0 with wins over Clover, Hopewell, and Harding, while Palisades came in at 2-1 with a loss to Clover, but they defeated Berry. And oh my gosh, I keep forgetting who their other team they defeated was. I don't know why I keep doing that, but anyway, they were 2-1. Coming into this game, we really felt like it was going to be a defensive struggle, and it was. Palisades won the game 14-7. They led 14-0 at halftime. They did a good job in the first half of getting some timely plays. Had a couple big plays in the passing game that set up some touchdown runs. One touchdown run by Lincoln Wise, the other touchdown run by quarterback Cole Huff. And then their defense was really impressive all night long. Chambers was really trying to find something, to hang their hat on offensively, and they just couldn't quite get it done. I think ultimately what won the game for Palisades was their experience. Chambers did get a touchdown mid fourth quarter that cut it to 14-7, and there was some game pressure on Palisades, and offensively, they made some uncharacteristic mistakes, and they put themselves in some tough situations. But every time Chambers needed to stop to get the ball back, Palisades offense was able to get a first down, no matter what the situation was. They were behind the chains. The play of the game, it was 3rd and 20. There was about maybe 2 minutes left at this point, and Chambers had to have a stop to get the ball back to try to get their offense one more drive to tie the game up, or even go for 2 and win. And Palisades ran a receiver screen, a safe call, not thinking that you're going to get the first down, but they got the first down, and that ultimately, really ended any real chance for Chambers to win the game. So I think Chambers is going to be a good team. I think they're well coached. They just need to take from this experience and learn from it. I think Palisades' experience in going through some battles, going through the playoffs, being in those tough situations together really made a big difference in their win in that game. All right, so as I went through that, I see like 30 comments come in, so y'all bear with me because y'all got a lot to say tonight. So, hey, Karen, good to see you. Good to see you. Independence 26-7 over Lake Norman. Yeah, on the show this week, there was a lot of people rising behind the Patriots because of where I had them in our Dirty Dozen regional poll. And I'm not saying that motivated anybody, but it was a really good performance from the Patriots tonight, especially defensively. Only giving up 7 points to a Lake Norman team that had been really, really playing well offensively, both throwing the ball and running the ball. So that's a shout out to our guy, Big Eye Shelby, and the Indy defensive coaching staff for really doing a good job after a tough week last week. And that's big. That's big. Independence will play Palisades next week in another, kind of showcase game among top teams in the Queen City. So that'll be an exciting one, and that'll be on the short list once again. We are really having some great games here. All right, Trayvon Gaither, Statesville 27, Alexander Central 14. Believe that means Statesville is still undefeated on the season. So congrats to the Greyhounds for continuing that streak. Impressive stuff. And, they're going to be a team that we talk about really once conference play begins, and when we start looking at classifications and teams that could make runs in the playoffs. They look like they could be one of those teams this year. I know the dual threat quarterback, Jai Cota, I believe Harrington is his name, has been playing well so far this season for the Greyhounds. So Trayvon, if you got some more information, man, throw it up there. I'll be glad to shout out who played well for the Greyhounds in that one. Chat administrator. All right. Well, let's talk about it. This was one of several good games in the Charlotte area tonight. Mooresville going over to Huff. Mooresville had a lead a couple times in this game, but Huff was able to pull it out 28-21. He says their boys made the city proud tonight. Yeah, I had some commentary from several people on this game. Some of it that I can share, some of it that I can't share, but I will say that Mooresville seemed to be very motivated coming into this game, and they're showing improvement. I mean, to that point, Huff is number one in our regional poll, and they're number one in a lot of polls across the state. And when you started thinking about what this game could look like, and you see what Huff has done the past several matchups with Mooresville, to see this score reflects, some progress, I think, under Coach Mayo and what those guys are doing up there at Mooresville. Now, on the Huff side of things, you're glad you got a victory, but knowing them, they are not going to be happy, with that, final score being what it is. And, I'm sure there'll be some, corrections made looking at the film or whatever they need to do, but that is a good performance for Mooresville. Sometimes a loss, you can take more from a loss than you can a win, and I think this could be one of those instances right there. And as they go to East Forsyth next week, we'll see how they can build off of this performance tonight for sure. All right, Kim Watts, happy Friday. Shout out to Palisades over Chambers. Yeah. Also on that game, we got interviews with Coach Simmons briefly. Now, I'll tell you why. He had to address, a little situation, during the interview. So that's why we didn't kind of get an extended interview with him like we normally would. But we got wide receiver Jelani Leggett had a couple big plays in that game. Lincoln Wise, running back, had a touchdown. And then, of course, Nick Rankin, who plays just about everything for him. So all those interviews are up on social media. Check those out when you can. Pictures are up in our photo website. We'll get some pictures out on social media tomorrow morning. And then the game highlight I'll start working on tonight, but it'll probably be done tomorrow, probably, because that takes some time to get all the clips and then the commentary and all that stuff. So, yeah, good stuff. And I thank you to the parent that I met, Lanisha Dowd. I met her tonight, on the chamber side. And Kim, I should have came over there. I wasn't thinking, but I'll catch you, next time. Let's see here. Jonathan Mitchell's talking about the Huff defense. All right. Well, what did the Huff defense do? Let us know. Give me some details if you got them. I know they're good, but let me know what stood out about those guys tonight. All right, yes. Has got Mallard Creek 20, Myers Park 13. Yeah, yeah. I saw Myers Park was up 13-7 in that game, and then Mallard Creek came back with 13 unanswered, and that was the final score. It's a really good win for Mallard Creek, bouncing back from a tough loss last week. First loss on the season for Myers Park. We had these guys kind of right beside each other in the rankings, CMS best to last, and the kind of the Dirty Dozen as well. So, both those teams are kind of on a similar, platform right now. But Mallard Creek finding ways to win. I think the quarterback, Sam Cheeseborough, tagged me in his highlights on Twitter. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but I'll be excited to take a look and see, what those look like. And let me know who played well. We can shout them out and start building that list for Pet Man's players for next week. So good stuff. Appreciate that. All right. Yep. Palisades defense balled out. Yeah, I saw him. I didn't know he had the game-winning sack. I would have talked to him. Me and producer Brandon, who comes with me, we always try to kind of figure out who to talk to because we try to get the guys that have made plays, throughout the game. And, Palisades had several. And I'm sitting there and I saw him and I talked to him. If I would have known that, I would have talked to him. But that's awesome. Good stuff for sure. All right, Travis Styles, he's becoming our Kings Mountain guy here. Said 28-21 Catholic over Kings Mountain, tough game. We get our starting running back in 2 weeks. Yeah, well, yeah, that's always hard. You're trying to go into a game like that without your starting running back. But it was like, they played well. The 28-21 against Catholic at Catholic is not, that's not chopped liver. I think Catholic's going to be a contender in 6A. So, there's potential that, you guys can have a rematch, because I think you guys are in 6A too. So, good hard-fought football game over there. Hopefully, I like Jarlin a lot. It's really, really talented, kind of under the radar. Hopefully he gets back soon and helps you guys out. And to add to that, here's Todd Bush with a breakdown of the same game. He says KJ Bell threw for 200 yards and a touchdown pass. Tex Vaughn, 2 touchdown catches. Xavier Hutchins, long kickoff return, and threw a touch. Oh, wow. It's a lot of fun stuff right there. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that breakdown right there from the Kings Mountain perspective, man. And I'm glad you guys are rational down there. Sometimes when people's teams lose, they get all emotional, irrational. I'm glad to see that you guys are rational fans, man. We need more of that in 2025 for sure. All right, Jason McRory, South Meck 28-27 over RG Kell in overtime. Wow, what a game down at I think that was at RG Kell, right? Shout out to South Meck, man. They've won, I think that's 3 in a row now. So the Sabres are really stepping up here and showing that they're going to be a team that you can't take lightly. So good stuff right there for the Sabres. Congratulations to Coach Evans and those guys for getting it done, getting it turned around too, for sure, man. Let's see here. Zach Cullen from Sun Valley says he had 160 yards of rushing and 2 touchdowns. Thanasis Papasis had 2 interceptions and a touchdown. Wow, what a game. Yeah, that's a big win for Sun Valley. Monroe is, kind of struggling right now. And, we thought Sun Valley would be a contender in the 6A, and now they're showing, some good progress in the right direction. So good stuff, Zach. Great game. And also great game, to your teammates. That 2 interceptions and a touchdown. Wow, that's good stuff right there. Thanks for those names. I'll definitely check them out for potential recognition on Pet Man's players next week, man. Good stuff. Tommy Wilson. How about them Red Raiders? Good game tonight. All right. Tommy, who'd y'all play? I don't have the ticker up yet. Yeah, give me some details, Tommy. Come on now. But South Point, yeah, they've been rolling pretty well too. So, good job. South Point and Belmont. The other South Point we'll talk about here in just a second. Let's see here. Let's see. Luke also shouting out South Meck with the big win in overtime. Yeah, yeah, good stuff, man. Y'all let us know who stood out from South Meck. I know the quarterback Carter Gillis had a huge game last week. I saw it too late to put him in Pet Man's play because he would have been in there. I mean, 6 touchdown passes is insane, and then over 300 yards passing. But yeah, good stuff. Once again, shout out to the Sabres. And if y'all don't know, South Meck is not playing at home this year. They're playing all their games on the road. They're playing the home games at different stadiums throughout South Charlotte, and their road games are, obviously road games. But their school is being under construction, so that's why they can't play at South Meck. So they're 3-1 with no home games at all. So that's a great start right there. See Jamal Horton. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. You do a heck of a job too. If y'all don't know who C. Jamal Horton is, he writes for the Cabarrus, Independent Tribune or Concord Independent. I can't remember the name exactly, but he does a great job in Cabarrus County. So I appreciate that shout out, man. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you watching. All right, let's talk about this South Point. Yeah, South Point Rock Hill. They beat Dub C and Northwestern. If you didn't know, the big Rock Hill game tonight was South Point and Northwestern. Of course, I say long time, but rivals for a while since South Point opened. And South Point won that game 27-23, and Jazavian Currents apparently had another amazing game. The guys moving the chains. If you ever wonder about South Carolina football and who to follow to keep up with it, just Google moving the chains. They do a great job covering South Carolina football. And I was seeing their tweets about the game, and apparently Jazavian Currents had an incredible kind of scramble and throw to R.J. Brown for a touchdown, and then he had an interception to kind of flip the tide for the game, and there was a lot. It was a great game. But South Point, and I don't talk about it a lot, but Bobby Collins, the head coach of South Point, he's one of the main guys in the Queen City Senior Bowl. He is a great guy. When you coach in Rock Hill, South Carolina, you get a lot of stuff said about you, positive, negative, whatever it is. And I'll tell y'all, the man knows football, and he's passionate, and he's a hell of a leader. Okay. And I know he's been, hearing all kind of stuff, all kind of mess, down there. But when you go out there and you beat West Charlotte and you beat Northwestern, and you were within 4 points of Huff in the game one, having to make a quarterback change, you're doing a hell of a job, and somebody's got to say it. And I'm, I see that stuff, and it drives me crazy because I know, what the man knows, and I know his passion, and I know his leadership. So if no one else say it, Bobby Collins, you're doing a hell of a job, man. And, I don't just throw that stuff out there willy-nilly. Trayvon Gaither, Community School Davis getting in the win column for the first time. 35-0 over West Stokes. First win on the season. I think that's going to start a little trend for those guys. They're too talented, and they just played a tough schedule. And, now they're seeing the benefit of that. All right, there he is, Big Eye Shelby. Little stats here for the Independence defense. Yep. I'll get to that in a second. Held Lake Norman to 61 yards rushing and 146-yard passing. And pretty good for a team on the bubble. Yeah. So I mentioned that earlier. If you guys watch the show, on the regular basis, and I'm talking about Football Focus Weekly on Wednesday night, I got flack for having Independence not in the Dirty Dozen. They're on the edge, which is just outside. So next week, we'll have an update. Well, congratulations to the Patriots. That's really impressive. It's really impressive. Good stuff, man. All right. Let's see. Jason McRoy. Yes, thank you. Thank you for this. Valentine Ridge got their first win in school history tonight over Garinger, 49-14. Shout out those guys. Coach Tyson Fernandez and his staff Like I told everybody that I could, that when I saw them in the preseason over at Jam Robinson in the dogfight jamboree, they looked much better, and they did. They did, and I think that incrementally over the first few games they got better. They got better, and then tonight, they had their first win ever, and I think that's awesome. It's hard starting out as a first year school. We've seen it with Palisades, the struggles, and Coach Simmons, did a really good interview with me last year after a game, talking about the struggles of having to build a program from scratch. And for Coach Fernandez, coming from being the DC last year to leaving to getting the job, that's a lot of transition, man, in a short period of time. And it's not easy. It's not easy, man. And I saw their JV also got their first win. I believe they beat Corvian on JV last night. So good week for Valentine Ridge, man. And I'm hoping that there's a lot more of that in their future. If you haven't been down there, it's a very nice campus. They have two fields, two full football fields, I should say. And it's a really, really great setup. So really happy to see that for and let us know, anyone from Valentine Ridge, let us know who stood out so we can give you some love. All right. Allure One Films coming in says James Bailey, 3 touchdowns, 2 offense and 1 on defense. Great job. East Meck over North. Wow. That is a huge win for East Meck over North Meck, 20-16. We were talking about North Meck is, I'm telling you, high school football, you never know. You never know on any given Friday night what's going to happen. And, we saw East Meck, when they played Harding and they lost. But ever since then, they've won 2 in a row. They beat Garinger last week, and now they beat a North Meck team who is obviously, trying to recapture the magic of the first couple games of the season. But East Meck moving to 2-2, that is a huge win. Great job. Coach Sanders and those guys finding ways to get it done. That's awesome. That'll definitely be in shout-outs on Tuesday night on our Between the Lines show. That's for sure. All right. There's some talk back and forth about the Huff game. I see. I'll let you guys kind of hash that out. Let's see here. AJI1 says Myers Park got introduced to the SEC Conference of North Carolina High School Football, 20-13. Yeah, let me know who stood out from Mallard Creek. That if you guys know, and if you don't know, that's okay. But I always want to shout out those kids who played well in that game, man. That's good stuff. And yeah, the SEC conference, I'm telling you, there's nobody under 500 in there right now. We'll break it down on Tuesday on Between the Lines for sure. All right, Chris Peavy checking in. Providence Day 39, Butler 0. Man, good win for Providence Day right there. Butler going through a tough stretch, playing Irmo, state title contender, of course, Providence Day, state title contender in the private school ranks. Man, they're gonna be all right though. They're gonna be all right for sure. And shout out to Providence Day, man. They got it going right now, and we'll see when they get into conference play. We always know Raven Gap is gonna be one of the teams to watch, along with Charlotte Christian in their conference. Chat administrator wants to shout out West Iredell. Oh, nice. 119-0 at North Lincoln. Oh, wow. That is a big win for West Iredell. For those that don't know, North Lincoln runs the heck out of the football in a triple option system. And to shut them out on the road, that is awesome. Coach Sean Fitzgerald and those guys are doing a heck of a job in rebuilding and turning around that program. That is impressive. They got a great quarterback in Jabraylon Patterson, running back and linebacker Mario Spence, Xavier Pete, the kind of athlete, plays on both sides of the ball. They got some talent up there, and now it's coming together, and they're going to make some noise. They're going to make some noise. Well, they're already making noise, but they're going to be a team that, people are going to wonder, where did they come from? And, it's a shout out to Coach Fitzgerald and what that staff is doing up there. Excellent stuff, man. Thank you, Chat Administrator. Appreciate that. So for South Mech, we got Rayvon Pauling, a sophomore running back, stepped in for Quinn Rucker. Had two. Wow, nice. I'll definitely put that name down. I need to do my research on. That's my first time hearing that name. So I love discovering and hearing about players who step up when they have the chance, and I want to shout those guys out. So thank you, Luke. Appreciate that, man. Good stuff. All right, Mike Eddy. Now, Mike asked me, he sent me a DM about an hour ago and said we need the late night live. And I told him I'd be on at midnight. So West Charlotte over Providence 42-7. Big win for the Lions, get back to 2-2 on the season. But if you're not aware, if you're watching the show, you probably are. But if you're not aware, former West Charlotte athlete KD Cotton went on Instagram earlier this afternoon and said that he is transferring to Weddington High School. And, kind of, shouted out his former teammates, but felt like it was the best thing for him to do for his remaining games in his senior year. Now, we can always speculate on why, kids make moves or whatever the reason may be. But we've seen West Charlotte, play already, this season, because he hadn't played this season. So we've seen West Charlotte play, talented teams, to the brink with what they have. And, losing KD is obviously a big, big deal. I think it's a great gain for Weddington because we haven't talked about what they did tonight, but for where he can play on that team, I think he fits in seamlessly. So he's a super talented young man, obviously, a big time leader, committed to Duke, and I wish him the best, over there at Weddington. We'll probably see him at some point. We haven't covered Weddington yet. So I'll probably get out there and see what he's doing once he gets back on the field. But that was some big news earlier this afternoon, if you were not aware of that. All right. Karen Belk with an update on Stuart Kramer, Bessemer City. Got Stuart Kramer 51, Bessemer City 6. Blake Wilkinson plays both ways at interception and 6.5 tackles. Okay. I'll definitely look Blake up and check him out. For sure, man. Thank you, Karen. And Stuart Kramer's still rolling. I believe they have Burns next week at Stuart Kramer. So good stuff right there. This one from the chat administrator. Davie County, good win over Oak Grove, 27-26. Okay. Yeah, that's oh my gosh, my brain's going dead. New head coach at Davie County getting it done. Really good hire in the offseason from Wes Cabarrus. Big win over Oak Grove's got a big time defensive lineman, Ben Bolware, who's got several Power 4 offers. But Davie County has Elijah Chafin, talented young quarterback. Elijah Chafin's a linebacker. And then Ethan Driver, a talented receiver. So good win for the War Eagles up near Winston-Salem area. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, that was the Patriotism Bowl, South Point and Mount Pleasant. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Tommy. 32-7 over Mount Pleasant. Okay. Good deal. All right. We got several more comments here. Yes, thank you, Michelle. Someone else shouted out James Bailey. Here's a high probability that he will be on there. He's been on there before. So we'll probably get him unless we got a ton of crazy stats. But yeah, he should make it for sure. Thank you, Gary. We talked about Mount Creek Myers Park earlier in the show there. Dudley got one, 21-19 over. Oh, that's I know that one feels sweet. I think that's Northeast Guilford, right? I'm pretty sure that's Northeast Guilford. So Dudley quietly had not won a game yet this season. And then they get one over Northeast Guilford where a number of Dudley guys moved to in the offseason. So interesting. Glad Coach Davis got in the win column for sure. Good stuff. All right. Zero from South Point is really legit. Yeah, that's just Xavier Currents, who we were talking about earlier. He's now playing quarterback and DB, for sure. He's the real deal. Committed to South Carolina. Yeah, he's the real deal. Coach Tatum checking in, 40-35. Walkertown over East Surrey. Good wake-up game for us. We start conference next week against Reidsville. Well, if you're going to start conference, you might as well start it in a big way. Reidsville has been kind of in the news for not being who they normally are, but conference play has a way of kind of shaking some teams up. So that'll be a big one. But, it's always good to get woken up after a victory. It's a conversation I had with a couple of coaches last week. So take it, ingest it, learn from it, and they'll be better. And I know with Coach Tatum and those guys leading the Walkertown charge, they're going to be good. They're going to be good to go. All right. We're all good, big guy. We're all good, man. We'll talk about that later. Let's see. Coach Simmons is the real. Yeah, absolutely. I really liked the way, we were on the Chamber sideline, but I could see, obviously across the field, I could see how he was leading his team, going from offense to defense, motivating his kids, talking them up, keeping them focused. I used to film post-game talks, but I don't do it anymore. But he had a nice post-game talk with his guys too. The standard has been raised. I'll say that. And, he's a really good leader for that program. So I totally agree with you there, Solo Steez. If y'all didn't know, Solo Steez makes our Football Focus weekly theme song. We need a theme song for Friday Night Live. I put that together. I just thought about that. Let's see here. Kim Watts sharing Caleb Owens from Valentine Ridge. 2 touchdowns. That probably sounds about right. He's a heck of a player. He's a heck of a player for sure, man. For sure. Legally, no, not to my knowledge. But, well, let me not get into that. I shouldn't even put that on there. But no, he's a heck of a player. He's a heck of a player for sure. On Wednesday, I will let the guys weigh in if they want to. Player transfers are always something that can be touchy, when you have other coaches talking about them. But if they want to talk about it, I'll give them that opportunity for sure. So Mallard Creek entire team, big and fast. That's a breakdown for you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Trayvon Gaither says, believe Mallard Creek sophomore running back ran for 122 touchdowns. Yeah. I've been told that he's a special talent. We've got him ranked in prep red zone in the state. So we sometimes with prep red zone, what we do is we'll put some kids on a watch list, knowing that they're going to break out at some point. And then when they break out, their performance will kind of determine where they move in the state rankings. So that's what we did for that young man. And if he's doing that against Myers Park, he'll probably move up in the next rankings update. That's for sure. Did Ambassador Raven Gap play? Can't find it. Okay. We'll get to the ticker here in just a second. We still got comments rolling in. You guys are on it tonight. You guys are on it. There's Coach Simmons. Shout out to the Palisades boys getting it out the mud. Yeah, it was impressive. It was impressive. And I'll tell you, Coach, I didn't get to ask you because I know you had to handle that situation, but that defense is real. I mean, that defense is real. And I told people, all in the preseason about it, and it was really good to see it tonight. I mean, if you really love good defensive football, they're a team that you want to go see, man, because I mean, all three levels are solid as heck. And like I said earlier, Chambers was searching and searching and searching, trying to get something, to click. And, they got the one touchdown in the fourth quarter where they found a little bit, of room on the ground, but there ain't much there, man. It just ain't much there. So, they're going to be there because that defense is going to be consistent. It's always going to give them a chance for sure. All right. Let's see here. Real DJ Magic, thank you for this update. Hopewell 51, Rocky River 14. Wow. I moved Hopewell up in the rankings in the CMS Best to Last because of their previous performances against pretty good teams, and now they're I'm gonna tell you something. Brandon Sneed, the new head coach over there, I told some people this a couple weeks ago. He is one of the smartest guys that I've ever coached with. And I've coached for 13 years with a bunch of different people. He is very smart offensively. And seeing some of the stuff that they're doing over there, it's cool. It's cool stuff that a lot of teams aren't doing. And he's putting his guys in places to be successful. They got a good offensive line. They're not going to be a pushover. They're not going to be a pushover. In that greater Charlotte conference that has Huff, Myers Park, and South Meck, we saw South Meck has won 3 in a row. Hopewell now getting it going. You're going to have a battle here for that. I know the conference doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, I think, after Huff and Myers Park, Hopewell can challenge for third place with South Meck. That's going to be a good game when those two teams play in conference play. So the Titans are, really showing something here. That's good stuff, man. And yeah, Mizzle, it was some good football tonight, man. It really was. It really was, man. Just seeing the scores, tight games, all types of different, kind of schemes and offenses and different players stepping up. It was a good night for football for sure. And the weather was great. Oh, I wish we could just bottle this weather and just keep it the whole year. Oh man. Oh, beautiful, beautiful weather. Joe Hughes was talking about he was at Weddington and Crest. So we hadn't had a chance to talk about this one yet. Kelson Tate, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I saw your updates. I saw you had 1 rushing and I guess 2 receiving. He is a dynamite player, man. I've been talking about him for years. And I'm glad he's getting the love that he deserves, man, because he's a special player committed to go play college football at Delaware State. And Weddington won that game 31-10 over Crest in a game that some people, I'm not gonna say no names, some people thought Crest, had a chance to win, but Weddington went out there and showed you why they are the Warriors. And out in Cleveland County too. So really impressive for them and getting back into what they do best. So Dudley guy says Dudley went to the wishbone in the second. I'm telling you, man, I go for 15 years not seeing the wishbone, and I see Harding do it a couple weeks ago, and now Dudley's running the wishbone. I tell you, man, everything is cyclical. It all comes back around for sure. Joe Hughes talking about Rock Hill South Point, says they're primed for a state championship. Said only one of their state championships have been done with a traditional quarterback. Encourages it's not your traditional quarterback, but he gets the job done. Sometimes when you got an athlete that can throw back there, it's worse for the defense because they can't account for that scrambling and off kilter ability. when you got a pocket guy back there, if he's gonna, take his steps and time it up with his routes, um, kind of figure out where the ball's going and getting it out on time and landmarks and all that stuff. But a scrambling athletic guy that can make special plays, that's a bigger headache. Like the teams that I had, when I was an OC, I loved having a guy who could move around because he can make me look smart. If I call a bad play or, something breaks down in the offensive line protection or whatever. So, yeah, that's a good statement right there. All right, let's see here. We got one more. Well, we got plenty more actually. So Steve says he's gonna make us a new theme song next. I had oh my gosh, EJ Nicholson made us one for the Between the Lines show that just came out of nowhere. I didn't even know it was coming, but okay. Maybe next week we'll have a theme song for Friday Night Live. We'll see. I'll gladly accept it if you want to make it. Karen sharing Shelby 49, Whistling in 14. Yeah, good job for Shelby. Way to keep it rolling after the big win last week that we talked about on the show, 90-0 over Highland Tech. AJI1 sharing that Mallard Creek's very young. Yeah, a lot of sophomores, freshmen on that. Man, I think I said this before, but they got a freshman that's 6'4", 250 that's going to be dynamite on the defensive line. And they got several offensive linemen that are huge. They've got another young quarterback in the program. They've got it all, man. They got it all. So they're a factory where they come from, but these kids are talented and they're special. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even sweat tonight, and I am a profuse sweater. So, yeah, that was really good weather tonight, man. Really good. All right, let's get the ticker on so we can go through all these scores, and hopefully they've got them updated now to where we've got scores for everybody. So I'm gonna get this up on the screen, and then we'll go through them together because this is my first time looking at it tonight also. All right, so we'll share the screen here. Solo Steves, I see your comment. We're going to get to that in just a second. All right, make sure are we on? Yeah, we're on. Okay. All right, so there's Hopewell over Rocky River, St. Stephen's over North Iredell, Sun Valley over Monroe, we mentioned. We also mentioned Providence Day over Butler. There's Catholic over Kings Mountain, Palisades over Chambers, Forest View, nice win over Lake Norman Charter. Montgomery Central getting the win over Piedmont. Piedmont was going for 3 in a row in that one, but Montgomery Central pulls it out, 28-20. Richmond Senior in the win column, 42-21 over Northwest Guilford. Pine Lake getting the win over Langtree, 14-7. There's the South Mex score. Country Day still undefeated on the season, man. I think they're 4-0 now. Good win, 38-14 over Covenant Day. West Charlotte big over Providence, 42-7. There's the Valentine Ridge score over Garinger. Corvian getting another win over CMS School, 25-12 over West Meck. Hickory Ridge getting in the win column, 28-7 over Parkwood. Porter Ridge 31-6 over South Iredell. Paris Lytle on Twitter with some great updates from that one. Lincoln Charter, another big win, 28-27 over South Lake Christian. There's the West Iredell score. Statesville right there. Mallard Creek over Myers Park. Charlotte Latin undefeated on the season, 42-13 over Metrolina Christian. I told y'all on the Tuesday show, Between the Lines, I said Forest Hills Cupleton, it's going to be a heck of a football game. And there it was, 21-17. Forest Hills getting it done, remaining undefeated on the season. Fort Mill remained undefeated. Man, 38-7 over Lancaster. Coach McNeely used to coach at Lake Norman. Now to coach at Fort Mill. Took him a few years to get that thing going in the right direction, but now they are rolling. Undefeated. Undefeated at 4-0. Good stuff, man. There's that South Point Mount Pleasant. Tommy was talked about, 32-7. Ashbrook, 36-29 over Marvin Ridge. Another good win for the Green Wave over a good program in Marvin Ridge, getting it done. Let's see here. Maiden with a big win. There's the Clover win. Hickory big over Newton Conover. Hunter Huss backing up the win over North Mac with another win over Anthony County, 28-12. Good stuff for Hunter Huss. There's the Weddington over Crest right there. East Lincoln continuing to roll, putting up points, 56-34 over Bandies. South Caldwell over North Gaston, 16-12. There's the South Point Northwestern score at Rock Hill. Lincolnton over Burns, 49-35. I was looking at that game on Twitter, and Burns was leading in the first half, but then Lincolnton flipped the switch, and that's a big win for the Lincolnton Wolves. Good stuff right there. There's Community School Davidson and West Stokes. There's Stuart Kramer over Bessemer City. Shelby over West Lincoln. Someone asked about Ambassador Christian and Raven Gap, but I don't see it. I don't see it. It might be in the Georgia scores, but it should have popped up in Charlotte, but I don't know. Let's see. Last comment here from Solo Steez. We got, says, can we talk about Myers quarterback? The kid has something special. Tough game against Creek, but the flashes were there. Yeah. His name is Ramir Watson, and last year he was at Rocky River, and I saw him against West Meck last year, and he's got the tools. And I saw him this year when they played J.M. Robinson, but to your point, he's got all the physical tools. He's got a good arm. He's mobile. I think, as a junior, he just is still learning. And, he has the ability to make some plays outside the pocket. There was a throw against Weddington that Brody Keefe had an incredible catch on, but he put the ball where it needed to be. And on some of those throws to him, to Brody Keefe, to Chaz Portis, he could put the ball in the right spot and let those guys go make a play. So, yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. All right, Alonzo's got Braylon Clark, 2 touchdowns for Country Day. Oh, there you go. That's becoming a common occurrence. If you guys don't know, Braylon Clark is one of the highest rated 2028 players across the United States with several Power 4 offers already. And he's a big time player, and one of the big reasons why Country Day is undefeated so far on the season. So, all right, you guys killed it tonight. Some of those comments I couldn't even get to because they were flowing in so much. So this is one of the longest Friday Night Lives that we've done, because I tried to get to as many as we could, but I appreciate it. As always, like I said, we'll have pictures tomorrow on social media for Palisades and Chambers. I'll try to have a highlight package tomorrow as well, to kind of break down how that game went. The interviews from Palisades are up on social media. Check those out. And yeah, we'll be back Tuesday for Between the Lines. Last week I said go Panthers, and that didn't go so well, so I ain't gonna say that this week. But enjoy college football tomorrow. Enjoy the NFL on Sunday, and we'll see you Tuesday night. These same outlets for Between the Lines, our deep dive into Charlotte metro area high school football, and then of course on Wednesday night with the guys on Football Focus Weekly. And we'll be back next week for another Friday Night Live, sponsored by Craig Fail of Blackbridge Financial at Palisades. We appreciate Craig's support. Make sure you check out Blackbridge Financial at Palisades for any wealth management needs that you may have. Everybody have a great weekend. You too, Karen. Thank you, Nick. Good night. or good morning, everybody. Appreciate it.